Hey guys, today I wanted to bring you to work with me. I am here with my EMOVE Cruiser S. I bought it roughly 1 year ago. I placed almost 2,000 miles on it, and so I had a really good chance to ride it and to experience it for quite a bit. Let's start from I want to give you and to share some thoughts with you, and maybe we can start today talking about the lights. Now, the lights they're not the most powerful one. I'm about to get into this art that is a little bit darker. I will turn them on now. As you can see, that is the light you should expect from it. The front one is not the most powerful one, but then you have those rear light, and I've also already uploaded a video about the lights at the night. The rear one, the tail light is not that bad. We have, I think they are quite visible. The front one, in my opinion, is not the best, and that's the reason why I have integrated that with these two other headlights. Let's now talk a little bit about the pros, what I like about this scooter and what I don't. Let's start with an analogy. I think the best way I can describe this EMOVE Cruiser S is as an old Cadillac. That's the way I think about it. An old Cadillac Eldorado, convertible one. A mean of transportation that is really not meant for high performance. It's not a scooter that you're gonna bring it to a racetrack. No, it's just very comfortable. It does not perform, but it's comfortable. It does not do anything in a great way, but it does everything in a way that is very comfortable. The way I think about it is old Cadillac. It's a car that is not meant for a drag race, but it's very spacious. The suspension are very soft. The engine is not meant to perform at the highest standard, but it still does a great job in running. You can drive it in the hot weather, you can ride it in very cold weather, the car is always gonna go. And that's what I feel about this EMOVE Cruiser S. I use it through the winter. I rode it at 15 degrees Fahrenheit. And yes, the motors was a little bit, let's say a little bit less responsive. It was a little bit more lethargic. That's probably the best way I can describe it. Max speed was roughly 20 miles per hour, 22 at those temperatures. But I left it outside all day long, and the battery didn't lose pretty much any range. And so it just meant to go and to ride pretty much any conditions. Let's talk a little bit about the motor for a second. As you guys know, here we have a single motor. It's a 1000 watt with peak power at 1700 watt, and a top speed claimed of around 33-34 miles per hour. What I noticed is that usually the GPS speed, it's a couple of miles over the digital display, what the digital display says. It's not the fastest scooter you can find in the market, but hey, it allows you to commute without any issue. Like for example, now I'm riding, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm riding at roughly 20 miles per hour on an uphill, as you can see in front of me. This is a good speed, honestly. Keep in mind that I use it to go to work, and I commute roughly 20 miles round trip every day. And I have used it, as I mentioned, throughout the entire winter with snow, with rain, with pretty much everything. And has always done, in my opinion, an excellent job at allowing me to commute. You have 3 speed. You have speed 1 that it's in my opinion it's probably not set in a proper way, because you only get up to 9 or 10 miles per hour, which is okay if you maybe have a kid, or if you want to maybe to go on a sidewalk. Then you have speed 2 that brings you to roughly 20 miles per hour. And then finally you have speed 3 that gets you up to 30 miles per hour. Now that is pretty much the 3 different settings. I find myself using speed 3 to go to work pretty much all the way to work. And then I tend to use speed 2 when I ride back on like on a sidewalk to limit the speed. For example, now we are on speed 2 and we are riding at 20 miles per hour. I will now set it to speed 3, and as you can see now the speed is going up. Hopefully you can see the screen as going up. Now we are roughly at 26 miles per hour, and it's still an light uphill. Let's talk a little bit about the suspension. I rode a couple of times the Bird scooters. Some of them have front suspension only, others don't have any suspension. Yes, that is a scooter that is rented, and so people don't treat it properly, I would say. So that one was quite beat up, to be honest with you. But the rideability was just significantly inferior compared to the EMOVE Cruiser S. Max speed, I think, if I remember correctly, was around 12 miles per hour, 13 miles per hour. And the platform was very narrow, way narrower than this one. So that there was not very spacious. And overall, anytime there was a bump or an imperfection of the road, it was very, very painful. And by the way, as you can see, guys, now we are now riding at 28 miles per hour now, and I am 200 pounds, so good speed here. Coming back to the Bird, this scooter that you rent, it was very uncomfortable anytime there was an imperfection on the road. With this movie, and we go back to our analogy of a Cadillac Eldorado, suspension are very, very soft, both the front and the rear. This road is a little bit bumpy, and I pretty much don't feel any. I don't feel the road, and I don't feel any bump. Pretty much, they are extremely soft and comfortable. Again, I would not go on a turn at 30 miles per hour with the scooter, of course, because the way I feel, the way I think about the scooter is a scooter not meant to just go fast and perform at the highest level. And so the suspension are very soft, are very comfortable, but on a turn I would not trust them to go fast, if that makes sense. What else? Let's talk a little bit about the range. The range is very surprising, to be honest with you. It happened probably a few times that on the way to work, after work, I had to run some errands or to do other stuff, and the range has never ever been a concern for me. Another check on the speed right here. We have now at 30 miles per hour, light downhill. As you can see, I'm commuting, and I would say so far my speed It's probably around 26 average. No, so good speed. Going back to the range, it has never been a concern for me. I have uploaded a video, I think was when I got it the first week, where I rode it for 50 miles in speed number 2, and yes, it did it without any issue. I rode 50 miles. Now, if you go in speed 3, do not expect to get 50 miles. In speed 3, you will get roughly 30 miles. You can go 30, I would say 27 miles in speed 3. But the best part of it is that in speed 3, let's say that unless you are in a downhill, you go around 27 miles per hour, no? In average, unless you're in downhill. In speed 2, you go at 20 miles per hour. And the interesting fact is that if you leave it in speed number 2, the range increase significantly. It's a big change. In fact, I find myself often going back to speed 2 if there is an uphill, only because if I leave it in speed 3, I might gain a couple of additional miles per hour when I'm on an uphill. I might go 22 miles per hour than 20 or 19, but it's not worth it, the loss of range by leaving it in speed 3. That is at least what I have observed. So we talk a little bit about the speed. Again, it's a light downhill now, but it's almost flat, and I am riding at 27 miles per hour. There are bumps, and I just don't feel them. It's very comfortable. And as you guys probably know, I got a Cabo King GT Pro, and I received it a couple of days ago. I still need to review that, which is on a different animal when it comes to speed, acceleration, and so on. But when it comes to commute, this EMOVE Cruiser, it just does a great job. That is the way I feel. It does a great job at bringing me from point A to point B with a speed that is absolutely more than enough. We're on the averaging 25-26 miles per hour. It's more than enough, and it's extremely comfortable. Extremely comfortable. So we talk about the motor, we talk about the brakes, we talk about the range, we talk about the light. Now let's talk a little bit about the brakes. As you guys know, we talk about semi-hydraulic brakes, which I think they do a fairly good job when it comes to braking power. They're not the best. Of course, if you compare them to fully hydraulic brakes, you will notice a significant difference. No, especially in the way the brake lever feels. But you know, for a scooter that goes up to this speed, I feel that those brakes are more than enough. They absolutely are more than enough. There is one other thing to mention right here, which is the regenerative braking. The regenerative braking, if you go in the P settings, you can set it as, if I remember correctly, low, medium, or high. And for my preference, I always leave it in high. And when you brake, you have roughly 70 to 75% of the brake lever, the travel of the brake lever, that engages pretty much the regenerative braking. And then past the point, you have roughly 25% left where you engage the physical brakes. And with my settings, which is pretty much always with regenerative braking at the highest, I really don't have any problem in just using the regenerative braking. Now, if I'm going at 20 miles per hour, 25 miles per hour, and I need to brake at the traffic light, then yes, then in that case I will use a little bit the brakes. Otherwise, it's difficult for me to use them. So those are, I think, the main components that I wanted to talk about. There is one more thing that to me is it's a big pro of the scooter. And by the way, still going at 28 miles per hour. So very, very comfortable. Another thing is the portability. How portable this scooter is. I already uploaded a video where I fold the scooter. You can fold the handlebar, you can fold the stem, and it becomes quite compact. And to me it's a big deal, because there are instances where I just ride with my wife, or maybe after work I go to my son soccer game, and all I do is to go to the field and then put the scooter inside my wife's trunk, and that's it. And I go and I get back home with them. So it's very portable. It weighs, if I remember correctly, around 50 pounds or 55 pounds, if I remember correctly. And it's just a good deal. It works very, very well for us and for me. One other thing to mention is the battery. It's an LG battery. Which so far in this during this year, or the first year of ownership, it has been great. Again, I have used it in any condition you can think of, like riding with 15 Fahrenheit, or riding when it was very hot, leaving it outside when it was very cold. And the battery seems performing still very, very, very well. Keep in mind one thing. Keep in mind that I pay attention to when I charge it. I have a plug that allows me to charge it. I usually consider gaining 1 volt every hour, and so if I am a 50 volt residual state of charge, then I consider charging for 8 hours. And so I try to make sure that the scooter is fully charged right before I leave the house, and I make sure never to charge the scooter when outside is when I go back home, right when I arrive home, I try not to charge it immediately. I try to wait for 1 hour or so for the battery temperature to decrease. Nothing. So those are my consideration and my thoughts when it comes to the scooter. Let's talk a little bit about maintenance. I think that is a topic that many people might be interested in. Well, I got it 1 year ago. I placed almost 2,000 miles on it, and when it comes to maintenance, I've not done much, to be honest with you. Brakes, the brakes are still very good after 2,000 miles, and as you guys know, I use a lot of regenerative braking, and so I really didn't need to replace them yet. But keep in mind that if you need to replace them, it's extremely easy, and you just go to Voro Motor. You can go to Voro Motor website or any other e-scooter website. You will pay a premium. It's gonna cost roughly $20-25 for a pair of brake pad. But I found the same and identical one, and I've already tested them on Amazon, and I can add them to the description below. And I pay $7 for each pair, and so I bought like 3 or 4 of them just in case. When it comes to the tire, the rear tire, I would say it needs to be replaced. I am borderline, and I've just ordered one. I think it cost $50 on Voro Motors or something along the lines, but I paid $20 on Amazon for the same and exact tire. I will replace it this weekend. And one thing to mention is that those are not self-filling tires, and all you want to do, and that's what I did as well. I always add the sealant inside, and I use a product. I don't remember the name now, but I can add it on the description below. Within the description below, it's carbon fiber based. It's a little bit more expensive than the other, but I got a couple of nails like after 1,000 miles, and at the moment I removed the nail, it immediately sealed them. And now it has been 1,000 miles roughly that I've been using those tires without losing any pressure. So they're working very, very well. They're not leaking. So that is what I wanted to tell you. So we talk about the brakes, we talk about the tires. What else? The disc. The disc is the only thing I had to replace. I replaced both the rear and the front. Yeah, I think so. And the reason why I replaced them is because they were bent. Now, I think that I caused the damage because when you go, when you are at 15 Fahrenheit and then you brake harder, I think the change in temperature bent them. I think it's an issue that I created. But again, I found them on Amazon. Those are traditional bicycle discs, same identical disc with same specs, and I think I paid $6 for each disc. And again, I bought 3 or 4 of them. So that is what I've done. What else? I think we talk in terms of maintenance. We have covered pretty much everything. So as you can tell, it's a scooter that is quite cheap to properly maintain. Quite cheap. Let's talk a little bit about what I don't like. No, what I don't like about this scooter, a few things. First, the stem where there is the front suspension, it's a little bit wobbly. There is a little bit of movement there, and a little bit of movement that is it's just annoying. When I got the scooter at the beginning, I thought it was probably not very sturdy, and I was expecting it to break. Now, after 2,000 miles and many potholes that I got, the play in the stem and the front fork, it's still there. It doesn't seem that increased by any means, and it is just what it is. So this is one of the things that I really not a huge fan of, to be honest with you. And then another thing that I don't like about the scooter is that the speed and the acceleration. Yeah, I would like to have a little bit more acceleration, but don't get me wrong, this kind of acceleration gives you everything that you need. In the end, let's keep in mind that, coming back to our analogy, it's like a Cadillac. You don't buy a Cadillac to have like a 0-6 in 3 seconds. You buy that just to enjoy the ride, and that's what I think the scooter does, and it actually does it very, very well. So, but I would have liked, to be honest with you, I would have liked to have the settings, the speed settings set in a little bit different way. What do I mean by that? If you're riding in speed number 3 and you are not in soft acceleration, you are in hard acceleration mode. If you are max speed and then you will go down to speed number 1, the scooter will brake very hard, to a point that one time I was about to fall. I would have liked a smooth transition with less braking power when you go from a speed 3 to speed 1 or a speed 2. That is something that I feel a little bit concerning. And then the last thing I would have loved to have a little bit different, it's the front light, the headlight. I would have loved that to be a little bit more powerful, only because I am a user. I rode the scooter when it's dark a lot, and I always need to have these additional headlights to offset it. So those are the things I would have loved, to be honest with you, to have. It would have been a great improvement. Would I buy this again? Let's conclude our review here. Yes, I would buy that again for sure. I would buy the scooter again. I think the scooter is an incredible asset. I think the scooter is well built. Is portable. You can fold it and move it left and right. It has a speed that is absolutely enough. Again, I average probably 27 miles per hour on the way to work. The overall quality is a good overall quality. If something breaks, it's fairly cheap to have it to fix it, and with all the connectors and access to the main component, you can do that on your own. The range is fabulous. You're talking about roughly 50 miles in speed 2 and 30, let's say 30 in speed 3, which is great. Suspension are very comfortable, both the front and the rear. If there is a bumpy road like this one, you will still not feel it. That's the best part. It's a very, very comfortable ride, and the price is unbeatable. Now I think I pay around $1,200 for this one, and now at the time this video is recorded, I think it's on sale on Voro Motors for $990. I don't think you can beat this price and get what you get from the scooter. So guys, this is my review. I hope you will find this useful. I hope it will give you some good information about the scooter. Nothing. I will upload a review soon about my Cabo GT, which is a completely different animal, and I will let you know how it goes.